It was speaking through the brambles, that little wild white rose, where the hawthorn hedge was planted, my garden to enclose. All without was fern and heather in the breezy open moor. All within was sun and shelter and the wealth of beauty's store. But I did not heed the fragrance of floweret or of tree, for my eyes were on that rosebud, and it grew too high for me. So in life's wide garden there are buds of promise too, beyond our reach to gather, but not beyond our view. And like the little charmer that tempted me astray, they steal out half the brightness of many a summer's day. O hearts that fail with longing for some forbidden tree, look up and learn a lesson from my white rose in me. 'Tis wiser far to number the blessings at our feet than ever to be sighing for just one bud more sweet. My sunbeams and my shadows fall from a pierced hand. I can surely trust his wisdom, since his heart I understand. And maybe in the morning, when his blessed face I see, he will tell me why my white rose grew just too high for me.
How old were you when you learned these pieces, and why did your mother want you to learn them?
My mother was an elocution teacher. She had a class, and she taught the readings too, like I just did. She had several people she taught, or young people, teenagers mostly. She herself was a wonderful public speaker.
And how old were you? Do you remember? How old were you?
Oh my goodness, I was speaking as soon as I could talk. She had me standing up in front of any crowd, any guests we had at our house. And my father would say, "Sister, speak a piece." And sister would speak a piece.
Wow. So how many pieces did you learn?
How many pieces?
Yeah.
Oh, when I was very little, probably 7 or 8, it would be all. And as I grew older, I increased my repertoire.
Good. So tell me about your favorite piece. Which one was that?
I don't know that I had a favorite. Funny ones made the crowd happy, and I liked to do something kind of funny if I had one.
Oh, good. So what do you remember about anyone that you performed for that really enjoyed your piece? Did you have a favorite audience member?
No. We lived next door to the Methodist church, and my parents were both very sociable people. Mother was in the PEO and the DAR, and Daddy was in all the Masonic organizations, and so we just always had a lot of people around us.
What did your mother do before she was married?
My mother was a school teacher. She was county superintendent of schools. She was gorgeous. She was just beautiful. And she didn't want to give up that job. She loved what she was doing. She dated my father for 12 years before she finally gave in, and when they were in their early 30s. And she said, "Oh, okay, if we're going to have any children, I can't wait any longer." So she married when she was 32.
All right. How many children did she have?
She had, I had 2 younger brothers.
How did she get the job of county superintendent of schools? Was she appointed by somebody?
How did she get the job?
Yeah.
Oh, she was elected by public election. That's the way they elected their county superintendents.
Right. Could women vote yet?
No. And she brought that up in every speech she made, if she could. She would say, her name was Miss Pratt, Pratt. She would say, "Although Miss Pratt is not allowed to vote. She would appreciate your vote in the upcoming election for County Superintendent of Schools of Blaine County, Oklahoma. She never lost an election.
Okay. Now, what about your father? What did he do when he was young?
He was born into a little farm family, and he didn't have much chance to do anything when he was little that I remember of. He went with my grandfather to the land rush when Oklahoma was opened. Do you all remember how that went? And my grandfather left my little daddy, who was only about, how old? 7 years old. Left him out there in the middle of nowhere with not even a tent. And he was to stay there until Daddy got back, until Grandpa got back. And he did. He had to stay there to hold the claim. And they had claim jumpers. People would come and slip around and take your whatever you had written down away and put their own down. So that's what he did.
What did he do for a living?
Oh, Daddy had a bookstore. It didn't make much money, and it was during the Depression. The only time we had any extra money was during early September when school started, and Daddy did manage to get the school books paid for in his little store. So the parents and children would be lined for a whole block up the street and Guthrie, Oklahoma. And then he'd take them as they came. He sold tags, what you have to do to put a tag on your car. I forgot what you call him, but he did that. And it was easy to set up the little spot in the store because it was a nice little bookstore and people could stand out in a line and he could take them one at a time.
Okay.
He became Justice of the Peace much later when I was I was probably about ready to graduate from high school before he became Justice of the Peace.
Okay. And what could he do as the Justice of the Peace?
Yes, he could marry people as Justice of the Peace.
He married somebody the day he died, right?
And he would invite them into our house, and Mother made a big deal out of it. If there was a poor little couple who didn't have much money, it was obvious. She always gave them a lunch.
And then one other thing they did between them, your house was very large, wasn't it?
I'm sorry.
Your house was very large, right?
We had a huge house.
So during the Depression?
It was in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and Guthrie had been the capital before. It was the first capital, so a lot of people came for that reason.
Okay. Let's see. And so this large house, what happened during the Depression?
During the Depression, Daddy made the rooms, the extra rooms, upstairs, and there was an apartment on the floor that we lived on, and another sleeping room. And we rented rooms during the Depression. We had a lot of, it got us through. Nobody was going to spend money on books in the little tiny bookstore when they needed it to eat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think that's all I had.
So tell me again, when's your birthday? Tell me again, when is your birthday?
January 31st, 1919.
Wow.
Yeah,
We just want to make sure we got that
I'm
on
kind of
tape.
elderly.
So do you have any words of wisdom for the young people? Have you learned anything in
I
100
think
years?
they have to find their own way. Everybody does. I have a letter, Parson, from my son out west, and my old heart's as heavy as an anvil in my breast. To think the boy whose future I had once so proudly planned should wander from the path of right and come to such an end. I told him when he left us only 3 short years ago, he'd find himself a plowing in a mighty crooked row. He'd miss his father's counsel and his mother's prayers too, but he said the farm was hateful and he guessed he'd have to go. I know there's big temptation for a youngster in the West, but I believed our Billy had the courage to resist. And when we left, I warned him of the ever-waiting snares that lie like hidden serpents in life's pathway everywheres. But Bill, he promised faithful he'd be careful and allowed he'd build a reputation that'd make us mighty proud. But I never once imagined he would bow my head in shame and in the dust would wallow his old daddy's honored name. He writes from out in Denver, and the story's mighty short. I just can't bear to tell his mother. It'll break her poor old heart. And so I reckon, Parson, you might break the news to her. Bill's in the legislature, but he don't say what for. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me. And may there be no moaning at the bar when I put out to sea. For such a tide as moving seems asleep, too free for sound or foam, when that which moves without the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening bell, and after that, the dark. And may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For lo, without this bourne of time and space, the flood may bear me far. I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar.